I don't know if I'm gonna be. I don't know if I'll make more keyboard content. Maybe if like a friend wants me to mod their keyboard or some shit, maybe I will, and I'll just do that. But I don't know. Well, guess what, dipshit? Now, before I actually get into this, I would like to preface that my overall knowledge of everything in the mechanical keyboard hobby is pretty lackluster, and I offered to do this since I have fun with these types of things, so please try not to roast me too hard, my ego is very frail. So about 4 months ago, I made a video in which I upgraded my sister's keyboard from this to this. Since then, I've been more and more interested in building keyboards, with me putting together a KBD67 Lite R3 with Duroc T1s and Osame Sakura keycaps, and a 75% board with box J's for a friend of mine. And as implied by the second keyboard, my interest in building keyboards expanded to the people around me, which leads us to the whole point of this video. It all started around the beginning of May, where I messaged a friend of mine named PH to hit me up if they were interested in upgrading their keyboard. And well, if the existence of this video wasn't obvious enough, they were interested. I met PH sometime around the beginning of April 2021, after joining the public Discord of a music artist named Sakara, whose music I'm most likely playing over this video. They're a Minecraft/Valorant streamer who also has a VTuber model that they use from time to time, and they're just overall a pretty cool and chill person. They've also been streaming a bit more as of recently and plan to do so more in the future, so check their social out in the description. After hitting them up and them hitting me up, After hitting them up and them getting back to me, I started poking and prodding with basic questions such as what kind of switch would you prefer and what size would you like. We settled on a TKL build with tactile switches and a budget of roughly $350. The board that we settled on was the Keycron Q3, a pretty solid TKL keyboard with a very funny shipping fee if you order from their site. I got mine from Divinity, and with a knob. We settled for this board since they wanted a keyboard that still kept the function row, as well as these keys above the arrow keys. Yes, I seriously do not know what this part is called, please do not make fun of me. It's also like one of the only in-stock options for aluminum TKL keyboard kits, at least at the time of searching. I know that Akko has a couple sets, but they were out of stock when I was searching. As for switches, we settled on some strawberry milk switches from Keycaps, which are switches manufactured by Texi that come in both linear and tactile variants. They also come with this cute little bottle if you order 70 or more switches. We opted for the tactile option as PH liked the bump that their current switches had, which I lubed with Tribosis 3203 on the stem and housings, and GPL 105 on the springs, and filmed with Duroc switch films. Hey, it wouldn't really hurt to put them on. Bro. Seriously? Films were necessary for... I'm gonna start screaming. Truth be told, I'm not too sure if films were necessary for these switches, but hey, it wouldn't really hurt to put them on. Last but not least, the most fun part, the keycaps. Now, I presented PH with a bunch of in-stock keycap sets that I thought they would like. I think I also forgot to mention that the point of this keyboard was to buy in-stock items so that it wouldn't take 10 times longer to get PH the keyboard. Anyways, I sent him a few options for in-stock keycap sets, but none of them really seemed to hit. After searching around a bit, PH came across a site called DIYKeycaps.com, and truth be told, I was pretty skeptical. The site allowed you to customize your own set of PBT keycaps and have them delivered to you. This is the set of keycaps that PH put together. Now, with a site that I've heard very little to nothing about, you can imagine why I was skeptical. But PH was willing to go through with it, so I just decided to go for it, and lo and behold, about 3 weeks later, I received the keycaps in the mail. Putting the keyboard together was pretty straightforward, but obviously it started with taking it apart. I unscrewed the 8 screws on the bottom case with the tools that I totally knew were in the box and unplugged the daughter board from the PCB. The first thing I did was relube the stock screw and stabilizers with 205 grade 0 in the housings and dielectric grease on the wires. I would have done the Holy mod, but I was too lazy to clean off the admittedly lacking amount of lube inside the stem housing thing. Alright, I'm just gonna go through all of them at once. So... Sweet.
Crispy.
I also opted to replace the aluminum plate with an FR4 one for the sake of sound, and also why not. Do note that if you also choose to swap your plate for any of the Q series, if I'm not mistaken, you will have to install gaskets and standoffs onto the plate. As for putting the switches in, I sort of don't feel like showing all the switches being put in one at a time, so I'll just slam the keyboard with the bottle and boom, they're all in. Wow, absolutely crazy and creative and original and incredible. I initially had this pretty neat idea planned for this segment where I would prop up the PCB and pour the switches behind the PCB and make it seem like I was filling up the PCB with the switches because, you know, strawberry milk switches, but I got lazy. My incredible amount of laziness and inability to commit to an idea aside, I also applied the Tempest Tape Mod, where I applied 2 layers of masking tape onto the back of the PCB, as well as the Force Break Mod, where I put small pieces of masking tape around the screw holes where the bottom case made contact with the top case. I also realized why I was feeling so tired at that point.
Oh my fucking god, it's 2:43 a.m.
If you couldn't tell, I'm not that great with keeping track of time. Since I've already used up a bunch of time, I'll do that other thing that a bunch of keyboard YouTubers do and just slam them on like that. The keycaps themselves actually felt pretty nice and were decently thick. It was a pleasant surprise to tell you the truth, especially considering that it was just under $60. Would definitely check it out if you're ever interested in making your own keycap set, and because I don't want to be reported to keyboard police, I don't encourage getting clones. But that's a whole completely different ordeal that I really don't want to get into. And that's about it for this keyboard build. I'm pretty happy with how this whole thing turned out, to tell you the truth. The keyboard itself felt pretty nice to type on, and it sounded pretty good as well. Once again, thanks to Peach for letting me put this all together for them. Like I said, they're planning to do streaming more in the future, so if you want to check them out, the links to their socials are in the description. And last but not least, something, if you like the video, press like, something, press subscribe for more rare content. Okay, sound test, bye!